Did you see the Malassadas video?
Yeah.
A pretty big high for 2025.
I don't think you can get any better than that.
Yeah, for those who don't watch the main channel, the very first episode of our series, What's in Junt's Cart, and it was actually before we even decided to call it What's in Junt's Cart, there was one video. We said, wouldn't it be funny if we just followed him around at the church fair and filmed it and we made a video out of it? And that turned into the next 10 years of videos, basically.
I see John Hunt. Do you see him? Look at him. He doesn't know we're here yet.
Yeah, the first time we called it Junt's Cart was Target, when we went to Target.
This is a big problem at Target. The pricing doesn't make any sense.
It was like after, I remember we went to Chinese and we were with Kyle and Hannah, and he needed to go shopping at Target, and they were like, can we come and see what that looks like? And I was like, oh yeah, we could just like roll a camera. And, you know, Kyle was shooting our stuff at the time, and he was like, I'll shoot a camera. And then, yeah, our friend Zach was like, I would watch a show called What's in Junt's Cart like every week. And I was like, oh, well, if y'all watch it. But anyway, as early as that first church fair video, 2013, John was talking about how one of the things he loved about this particular church fair was this Portuguese fried dough.
What's Malassadas?
It's a delicious Portuguese, like fried dough.
Are you going to have one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Several. Look at that group of ladies. They are clearly
Classic
Portuguese grandmas
Portuguese
that know how to make malassadas.
Which, you know, every year, Matt, one of our crew, always asks, like, what's the difference between a doughboy? Which, by the way, I've never heard it called a doughboy until he brought that up. I always ever heard
Fried dough.
fried dough. You'd see big signs at the fair that said fried dough.
Fried dough. That's all. I thought it was an interesting Mattism, but it must be called that somewhere.
Because people in the comments and stuff seem to know what that is. So anyway, the answer was the Portuguese version has more hydration and more sugar. This is what we've been told.
What is the difference between a malassadas and just a doughboy?
Yeah, I think that has more sugar.
More sugar? Now, what's the difference between this and like a doughboy?
This is a lot more dense.
Yeah, I ask this every year.
It's the hydration. There's more water in it, so it creates a thicker, more dense dough.
What is the difference between malassadas and just a doughboy?
This one has more sugar in it.
But anyway, a staple of the church fair was that the old ladies cooked the malassadas. And even a few years ago on this podcast, I was like, oh yeah, we did that annual video that we always do, and they weren't doing it anymore. You know, this is the death of tradition. Because once those Portuguese grandmas get a little too old, and if the young generation doesn't come up from behind and keep the tradition going, we're going to lose it. And so for 2 years, you know, not to disappoint the church fair goers, they did provide malassadas. They got it from a New Bedford bakery. And like all things, look, you're somebody who cooks at home basically 100% of the time. The difference between out of the oven hot and not is there's a big gulf.
Oh yeah, my son won't even eat the pizza I make the next day because he says the leftovers are disgusting. So.
I think that is the marker of good pizza. Pizza that, like, one of my favorite pizza place in the area, Nick's, I've talked about on the pod. I actually think that, like, if you carry that pizza home, if you put it in a box and you get in the car and you go, like, you got it fresh out of the oven, you put it in your car and you go home for a 10-minute drive, I think it drops by like 25% quality right there, right off the bat. Like, you got to eat it there, in my opinion. That's a marker of good pizza. I think that I've always said Papa John's, I think, is purpose built. I think it was formulated specifically to be reheated. So it's kind of mediocre to begin with, and then it's not that bad reheated. You know what I mean? Yeah, it stays in the middle.
The same thing with Domino's. Domino's, like, you reheat it, it's like the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas like this like, mom and pop, like Greek pizza stuff that doesn't reheat. And Nina always tries to, she'll throw like some garlic salt on it.
Try to do it in the oven, and the oven like takes too long, and it's a little bit better in the oven, but
it is better in the oven. That's true. But anyway, malassadas in a box, malassadas, and you got to consider, like, they fry it right there, and they make them in these big bowls, and they powder sugar, they pour sugar all over it. It really does make a difference. It'll become rubbery, basically, if you put it in a box, and it's like kind of crispy. You would never call it rubbery. Everybody already knows this because they watch What's in Junt's Cart. But I remark on it because I was thinking that this 10-year arc about the malassadas is a very good workshop in storytelling. I think that we can learn about stories by looking back on what happened with the Malassadas.
How so?
So what's a story? A story is typically, there's a character we're invested in. We learn what he wants and what his desires are. He has a status quo. The status quo is changed. That puts him into some kind of tension or conflict. There's normally like an all is lost moment where it looks like, he's not going to get what he wants. And then if it's a traditional story, this is denouement and he gets what he wants. Through the art of like filmmaking or whatever, normally the visual arts, there's motifs, musical motifs or visual motifs. So we know who John is as a character. He's a very well-defined character, right?
Yep, that's for sure.
We're not confused about who he is, and he's compelling. He captures our attention. We know that he likes the Malassadas. We know that that's like the status quo for him is I go to this every year and it's always the same and I'm happy and it costs the same and I'm happy. That's what we know.
I've been coming here probably since 98, 97, maybe a few years even earlier. It's always been $1. Price never changes. Prices at church fairs are stuck.
He sets up the conflict, year 3, year 4, year 5. Right? This is the 10th time we did it. Around that time, he starts to say, I'm worried that maybe because of this existential problem, which is that the old people will die and the young people won't step up, we will lose culture.
I'm a little concerned, Frankie. The Malassadas women, they've done a great job for so many years. They're getting older, and I don't see any new generation.
There's no one being
to take up the reins.
And up until this point, it's all tongue in cheek. It's all haha, John Hunt and his silly Malassadas. And every year it's like a little bit of a laugh. Will he get what he wants? Because the year before it was in a box. He said it was the best it had ever been.
The status quo.
He reaches the peak. So he really has a long way to go down. And up until this point, the price mattered to him. It was $1 per Malassadas. And I think at this point it had gone up to $2 or something.
A day old and $2.
Exactly.
Already scoped out the Malassadas situation.
$2.50.
Cost is relevant, but they're not made here.
They've been brought in, and they said to get them early because they expect to run out, which to me means yes, like they have bought them, they have been delivered.
Those are courtesy Malassadas.
Courtesy Malassadas.
So then when he loses it for 2 years, I cut together a montage of all of the times that he talked about Malassadas, kind of leading up to this moment. And I set it to that Goo Goo Dolls song Iris,
Yeah.
When everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you breathe just to know you're alive.
Look at that group of ladies. They are clearly
Classic
Portuguese grandmas
Portuguese
that know how to make Malassadas.
It's going to be nice and hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, it's incredible. You can't beat it. This is why I love the church. Frank, it's the best. You can see the marks where the women speared it while they turned it. It's a fresh grandma-produced Malassadas. I'm a little concerned, Frankie. The Malassadas women, they've done a great job for so many years. They're getting older, and I don't see any new generation
There's no one being
to take up the reins.
Malassadas is starting early.
Yeah, so I took advantage early.
This is actually pretty good. It's one of those items that it's a dessert item masquerading as a breakfast food.
Like a full chocolate cake.
Eventually, Frankie, certain aspects of the church fair are going to disappear due to lack of new blood. I think that Malassadas may be one of them.
I don't know. The interest looks high.
The interest is not the problem. It's the old ladies. Oh my God. I rated it a 9. Having trouble expressing how good it is. It's very good.
It's fun.
Sadly, they're not cooking them fresh here. I don't know if they're cooking them fresh inside.
I'm not sure this was made fresh. It's very cold.
It's a little rubbery. It's not warm. That adds a lot, I think.
It's just not fresh at all. And I did this because I thought it was funny. It's a cheesy song. It's one of those really broad, pop songs from the 90s. I'm being tongue in cheek. I'm making fun of how serious this is to us. However, it is like a very familiar song, and it's an effective song, and it does touch people emotionally. And so I remember last year when I cut the montage into the video, people were kind of like, I can't believe I'm feeling something about the Malassadas.
It's like some, you can't help but be a storyteller, You're just...
That's right. So now I've introduced the musical motif of the Goo Goo Dolls, and I didn't know that I'd be paying it off this year. But this is, I imagine the television writers are like this, where you kind of always like, sort of trying something and laying down a track and then kind of reacting to yourself and responding to yourself. And eventually you can sort of like construct a story over time. Or if you're J.J. Abrams, not at all.
That's a story for another time. And then, nah. Never said again.
Where'd you get that?
A good question for another time.
But I think of the best TV show writers, the way that they avoid that problem of like, hey, let's set something up that we don't even know what the fuck we're setting up. They don't do that. Instead, they just kind of make the main character interact with interesting, challenging situations, and then they let that develop the story sort of in a more organic way. And you end, where you end up is way more interesting for the character and everybody else. So anyway, so this year they all came back. What makes it an even better story is we got headlines 3 months ago that all these churches were dead. The churches were all closed. That's what it said. The headlines were like, churches in Westport closed. St. John the Baptist, and mentioned a bunch of them. And so we were like, okay, I guess that's it. Like, we don't make the St. John the Baptist church fair videos anymore after 10 years. And then we find out, no, the parish is just combining a bunch of, they're all going to be under the same parish. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm sure that, I wonder if it'll be different. I wonder if it'll be poorly managed. I don't know. This is sort of stuff that runs through your head. Then you get there and the tent's all set up. It's got a big sign that says Malassadas, and Portuguese grandmas are making it. And it's hot, fresh out of the oven. And you find out that in this moment of darkness, the other churches, because it was like, hey, where did you find people to do this? Turned out that the other churches that combined sent in, the reinforcements.
The Zord came together.
Yeah, exactly. Or, the on your left from Endgame. I don't know how to say on your left in Portuguese. It's probably something like zhuzh. Growing up in a Portuguese area, for some reason, the line that everybody said all the time was "vá para casa," which I think means go home or I think it means get out of my house. Vá para casa. Everything was Portuguese. It's zhuzh. Everything. I don't know. It's just one of those languages. We used to jokingly say, we'd say Super Smash Brothers in a Portuguese accent. We'd say Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers. You're like, oh, he's talking about Smash Brothers, that Portuguese guy. So anyway, and now it's $3, so it's tripled in price. But John is ecstatic to pay $3 for it because it went away and it came back. So he's grown as a character. Mm-hmm. Like he's willing to pay it. How do you feel about the $3?
Can I do it?
I'm fine.
When you were threatened with its complete absence.
Maybe that's the way to get me to pay more for everything. Is you got to take it away for 2 years and replace it with utter. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call.
And I knew, like last year, I played like a kind of a subtle instrument only version of Iris. This year, it's the live version. Famously, Goo Goo Dolls did this like performance out in the rain at, I think it was Wembley. Where it was pouring rain, and it's so dramatic and sexy and all that. And so I'm cutting in clips of that concert footage. It just breathe just to know you're alive. And even as I edit it, I'm like, this is making me emotional because even if it's fried dough, I've lived it for 10 years. I've seen that, and it's this very fun, visceral collision of something very trivial, like a fat guy's interest in fried dough, cheap fried dough, and this kind of symbolic metaphor for dying tradition and who's going to take up tradition, who's going to keep the small things going. And yeah, because it's filmmaking, there's a little musical motif, and sure enough, people in the comments were like, we must have gotten 10 of these that were like, I never thought I'd feel genuine emotion about a Portuguese fried dough on the other end of the country in a church fair I'll never go to. And I was like, the reason you care is because we told you a story.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. I was happy. I was standing up. Pumping my fist.
Yes. The fact that it was 50% facetious or whatever, I think helps it a little bit. So, or it has a sense of humor about itself while it's like, isn't it good that at least for one more year, the Malassadas isn't gone. It's almost like finding out, I don't know. It's like your dog you know, had some kind of terminal illness and then kind of made it through for another year or something. Like it's just a little extra. Hopefully, then I thought, okay, where do you take if this is indeed a story that we're living? Where do you take it from here? And it's like, I think we have to make the Malassadas.
Yeah, you got to learn. Get the big bowl out. Get the oil.
Yeah, I think that's how you fully actualize. You know, that's when like it's the story is complete. Is when you become the Portuguese grandma.
That must be the Red Cow holiday special right there.
True. I know that Levi, there was some friend that like traveled to see him and they made Malassadas together. They never, you know, they have never heard of it beyond our channel, but they were like, we're making this. And they were like, you know what? It's really fucking good.
Oh yeah,
it's
he
really
like made my turkey recipe and he had a whole, yeah, they had a Red Cow feast, you know?
Damn. I mean, we got a lot of recipes. You can go to redcow.tv/recipes and you can eat good, man.
Yeah.
And when I was at the church fair, I did for $1. I saw this silly ass cowboy hat. How terrible!
I kind of like it.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad at all. I think it actually kind of suits you.
Really? Should I go for it? Should I grab this
Where
hat?
would you wear it? That's the question.
In the sun. And I wore it as like a lark to be like, hey, should I wear like the $1 cowboy hat? You know? And everybody was like, you know what? It kind of suits you. And I was like, does it? I'm gonna walk around with a cowboy hat now? Is this who I've become? First I was short shorts, now I'm cowboy guy.
With the aviators, it looked kind of cool. I don't know.
It kind of worked. Here's what's happened. I've gone out with this confidently. I'm not walking around like, I got a cowboy hat. No, I'm walking around confidently with this thing. I have to say, people definitely treat you differently. Definitely. There's no question about it.
Good way or bad way?
I think it's all good. It's all ups. I think
it's all ups.
I'm the cowboy.
We were on a walk in the park and these older guys walked by and they were like, hello. Yeah, like they definitely, you know, or like I was leaving church and there's like greeters at the door and they always just say, have a good Sunday. Good to see you, whatever. One of them reached out and was like, hey, have a great Sunday. He shook my hand.
This is a man who deserves respect.
Yeah, there's something like if I'm in a convenience store, people are, ooh, excuse me.
How about, does anyone say howdy?
Hasn't happened yet. We are in fucking Massachusetts.
Howdy, partner.
Nobody's said like, you know, howdy do.
Howdy, 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 howdy do, howdy, howdy, howdy do, howdy, howdy, howdy do, howdy.
Even the young people are like, do you need anything else today? There's a little bit more reverent. I'm walking around going, it's like, it's a $1. It's a stupid it's a hat. It's like, this is for $1. It's a hat. And it changed, like it does move the needle on how you're treated. And it makes me think like, what other small physical changes could people make to themselves that would transform the way that they're received for good or bad? Probably it's like really easy to do.
Yeah, cowboy boots and spurs, I guess.
But then, you know, I get shit for my hair like all the time. Like I'm Big Ryan or whatever. I don't know what to do about this hair. Like I always show up to the podcast. I'm like, is it okay? I don't know. And you know, like before long, I'll lose it like Jamesy. And like he has a Mortal Kombat hat, right? I could buy one of those. Or look,
you got to do the cowboy hat.
I could just be like, I'm a cowboy. And they'll be like, what do you mean you're a cowboy? You're from Boston. I'll be like, I'm a fucking cowboy guy. You fucking queer. No, you're queer for not being a cowboy.
And now it's inspiring me. I should change my look somehow. Maybe just do the mustache, shave the beard. Who knows? Well,
I was considering a mustache. To go with the cowboy hat, not necessarily.
Who's that streamer? Like Arcus?
Oh, yeah, I could be that guy. I could beat the shit out of Batman for NES.
He's a little soft spoken, like, hey, we're gonna be Ninja Gaiden.
Hey viewers, good to see everybody today. Today we're gonna beat the shit out of Batman for NES.
Thanks for the 24 months.
Yeehaw and strap in. Thank you for the sub. No, yeah, there's like a November prostate cancer something that people grow mustaches. I was like, I could just for the gimmick of the cancer thing, I could grow the mustache and just see how it goes. Maybe more people will step further out of my way when I walk. Shit. Mustache and a cowboy hat.
This guy means business.
My dad has it's not a huge, it's just a little mustache. Just, he would call it very French. I've never known him without it. I've seen some really old pictures that are unrecognizable to me. Outside of that, like from the time I met him to this day, he's got the little mustache. And I'm like, I wonder if I would look more like my dad with the mustache. Wouldn't that be interesting?
When I started growing facial hair, my dad was like, you can't do it, son. Masses can't grow beards. You can't do it, son.
Just watch him.
Here it is. And I was like, Dad, look, you didn't believe in yourself.
You know what? This is the first time I've worn it on the pod. And is it just me, or is it flat? Is it actually reflecting the light nicely?
Upon your eyes.
I'm not getting rid of this. But what's gonna happen is people are gonna not have seen this clip where I describe why it's on my head.
What's with the hat, Quia?
I'm gonna have gone from short shorts to Big Ryan barcode hair to gay cowboy. But you know what? Like haters, maybe I am the gay cowboy from now on. Haters. Hatters. Cowboy hatters. All right, yeah, I'm leaving it on because it looks like it's a good flag. I wore the baseball cap one time, the red cow one, and it like totally shadowed my face.
But
this doesn't.
This is it's like
this is what we're doing from now on. And if you're not good in the comments, you're getting a mustache.
Get a mustache.
You're getting
the aviators come on, the mustache.
Yeah, I could be like Razor Fist and wear fucking sunglasses in my dark basement. You see that once in a while, don't you? Somebody like a podcaster wears sunglasses.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go that far.
Bob Chipman used to wear them because it would hide his eyes, his teleprompter eyes.
Yeah, actually, I was at a cookout this past weekend. I had this on. It was at John's cookout, and John was like flame broiling, on the grill, and I had the aviators on, and like apparently like big flames were in my sunglasses, reflecting. Somebody was like, "That looks fucking cool."
I'm the cowboy.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.